Hi everyone. My name is Balaji. Very well known as BJ in the ex Jehovah's Witness community on Facebook. Um, a lot of you guys know me personally. Um, Most of you don't. For those who don't know me, an ex Jehovah's Witness. I live in Nigeria. Um, I was born and raised a witness my whole life, basically. Um, I left around 2018, January. So I've been out roughly 3 years now. And believe me, I wish I had left earlier. But better late than never, right? um, I'm still pretty young. I'm 26, so um, still not too late. There are loads of people who left later in their lives, 40, 50, you know, even 60, and a lot of them are filled with regrets that they wish they had known the things that they knew earlier, and they would have made that decision to leave the organization in their early age, and that kind of um, had one or two effects on them. So still pretty. Well, I say I'm pretty lucky. I'll just use that word. I'm pretty lucky that I, you know, came across this information that I had that helped me make the decision of leaving um, at a young age. I was baptized at the age of 14, 2009. Um, I and three of my siblings, we were raised Jehovah's Witnesses. But fortunately, I pulled away my mom and siblings. My biological dad is not a witness. Um, he's late now, but he didn't have a problems with us attending the meetings. Once in a while, he would even accompany us to the meetings, And I was always looked upon, especially as the first child and as a young boy in the Jehovah's Witness household, to be the perfect Jehovah's Witness. Um, the fact that they would always want me to pursue spiritual goals, like they will call it. um, I'd always wanted to be a minister or a servant after my baptism, and go to Bethel to serve. And for those of you who don't know what Bethel is, Bethel is you know it's a branch of the organization where uh, they publish these books that they use in teaching people. That's a branch of the organization where you know all the affairs of the organization has been carried out and distributed to the local congregations. So Bethel was more like an headquarter of the organization. So and there in various countries they all have branches, um, but the overall headquarter is in the United States of America, formerly in New York. Now I heard it's been moved to Warwick. So that's by the way. So I'd always wanted to be a Bethelite, and because I've been so brainwashed from my childhood, I saw these things as spiritual goals, and I was willing to forfeit my own goals and careers, that I would always add in mind to want to achieve someday. For example, I wanted to be a metalhead, a rock music star. I wanted to have a band, travel abroad, and pursue my music career. Uh, but because of the fact that the organization kicks against any career of any sort, like being a footballer, a musician, being a basketballer, and so on and so forth. Uh, because they say that these careers uh, will distract you away from pure worship, and these careers will distract you away from serving God with a complete heart. So, in other words, the rank and file members of the organization are encouraged to pursue careers that are within the organization's confines and not outside of it, unless they want to, um, do some form of menial jobs and you know jobs that not even lucrative, cannot even change their lives individually. They're encouraged to do those kind of jobs just so they could be able to attend the brainwashing sessions. It's just funny, right? It's really really funny that an organization who was not more than 8 million worldwide. I knew they lied about that figure. I'm not even sure they're up to 8 million. Uh, has a very very wealthy leaders. Like the leaders are fucking wealthy, and it boasts of a mass poverty rate within the members of the congregation or the organization. So an organization that boasts of very very wealthy leaders have about 80% of poor people in the organization. It's just really alarming. Uh, what happens to the donations that they give? What happens to you know the loving donations these brothers give out of their heart? Uh, it's just really crazy. What happens to the careers that individually they want to pursue, the goals they want to pursue? What happens to it? They have to sacrifice it, all for the sake of the organization. And so it's just a case of the leaders enriching themselves and their pockets, and eating large, you know, making their bellies go fat, feeding on the donations of the poor and unsuspecting members of the organization, while these members slave their ass off for the organization without little or no reward. That's quite nefarious in my opinion, and I really really find such kind of organization, you know, appalling. So, like I said earlier, my doubt started shortly after my baptism at the age of 14. It was funny how this doubt started because, as a critical thinker, I could be able to decipher that a lot of things are not adding up in the organization. The organization claims to be the only true religion that God is going to use, the only true religion on earth that God is using to save mankind. In other words, the witnesses believe that the organization is the only organization for salvation. So if you are not a witness, you're going to be destroyed at Armageddon. So it's a doomsday cult that preach about the destruction of over 7 billion people out there in the world, while they themselves will be saved by God because they are God's chosen people. Such level of brainwashing. And the witnesses also believe that even among themselves, we have 8 million witnesses worldwide, right? And not every one of them will be saved. So let's say about 30% or 40% of witnesses are saved, which could amount to like 3 to 4 million witnesses. So when God establishes his kingdom on earth, so you'll have only about 3 to 4 million people that is going to inherit that kingdom. Wow. The billions of mankind will be destroyed. What kind of a God would you call that kind of a God? What kind of a God will destroy billions of people, mankind, just to save a very, very, very minute set of people, his own creation? I don't think that kind of God deserves my worship. And that is where the witnesses get it wrong, because the teaching is just bullshit. And the funny thing is, even the leaders of the organization don't even believe these things they teach. It's all it's all business. It's a publishing company that disguises themselves as a religion in order to be exempted from paying tax. That is basically what Watchtower is all about. A publishing company, and what makes them a cult as the ties to Freemasonry and the Illuminati. From my research, they also have a very uh, deep ties with these cult groups, and that's quite alarming. And I'm not surprised, considering the fact that the organization is blood guilty. There have been a lot of people who have committed suicide, all from their inhumane shunning policy. When you leave the Jehovah's Witnesses, this is what they do: they treat you like you're dead. And even it's in the publication that anybody who leaves the organization should be treated like they don't exist, because these people are Satan's incarnates. These people are mentally diseased, and these people want to draw the witnesses away from pure worship. That's what the organization keep telling the members. So there's this, morbid fear, this dreadful feeling when a witness sees an apostate. They feel like, oh shit, I just saw Satan himself. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna run away from my dear life. It's just crazy, right? So we are seen as mentally diseased, all for following the dictates of our conscience, all for seeing the organization for what it is, all for putting the puzzle together, all for seeing beneath the curtain. And just because the organization knows that we have woken up, in order for them not to lose all of their members, in order for them not to go bankrupt, they now have to devise means to block the ears of those that are still trapped in the organization from even listening to what we have to say, even when these informations are genuine. Even with so many evidence, a witness has been brainwashed to the point that they wouldn't even want to listen. It's just really crazy. I've never seen a cognitive dissonance so strong like that of the witnesses. They are really difficult people to, you know, uh, you know, convince. They're really difficult to convince because of how heavily brainwashed they've, been. And the truth is, I don't hate the witnesses as individuals. I don't hate them. A lot of them are people who's got a pure motive. A lot of them are people who want to, worship God with their whole heart and their whole mind and their whole soul. But it's just unfortunate that they find themselves in an organization that that has a very different motive to what they believe in. It's just unfortunate that the witnesses are in an environment that they are being exploited and taken advantage of without even knowing. It's just pathetic. Um, and that is why a lot of us in the XJW community, which I really, really admire. S- you know, taking out their time, sacrificed a lot of things just to be able to wake as much Jehovah's Witnesses out of the organization as possible. And to be honest, what really made me wake up was the extensive research that I made and a lot of YouTube videos that I watched from you know fellow apostates. Um, because as a critical thinker, I needed to be sure that everything that I believed in, was the truth. I wanted my beliefs to withstand scrutiny, and it took me a long time. In fact, right from 2009 that I got baptized at the age of 14, I was only 23 when I decided to wake up for good. So you can imagine how long that my doubts has been piled up right from 2009 down to 2018, over 9 years that my doubts has been piled up. And because of this, fear mongering tactic that Watchtower always use on its members in order to, keep them trapped and in order to hinder them from making their research, uh, we're just too scared to look outside the box. And that really affected my not even leaving soon enough because every time I want to research outside of the organization's material, I'm always scared because of the way that apostates has been painted to us. I'm always scared that if I research outside the organization's material, I might get deceived. I'm always scared that if I research outside the organization's material, it might lead me to leaving the organization, which I was really scared about because I, deep down, I love Jehovah like I thought. And I believe that, the organization was a true religion. So I didn't want anything to come between me and the organization. So it was like a crisis, you know, of conscience for me because now I'm caught between researching outside the organization's material or keep piling my doubts and, stay in the organization because I want to believe it to be the truth, like I was always told. So it was really difficult for me. And I just kept on piling these doubts. And most of these doubts, the doctrinal doubts, uh, I could also see a lot of things that were not adding up, like, you know, the the fact that the organization has this, very, very high level of favoritism. It's something that I've noticed in the organization where elders' kids are more favored over, non-elder kids. Where an elder's kids would, commit some serious crimes and, they would try to cover it up. But, if you're not an elder kid and, you commit a crime, um, you're going to be disfellowshipped. So there's this unjust treatment to those who are not privileged to have, you know, their fathers be an elder or a ministerial servant, and that is something that I observed. And the fact that they would always favor the rich brothers in the congregation also was quite alarming for me. I could see through all of these things. I could even see the politics in the organization, and these things really kept bugging my mind. It really um, kept disturbing me. I got perturbed over all of this, and but I never really saw it as a big deal. I felt okay, probably human imperfection. These things can happen, I also was seeing how cases of child sexual abuse was not handled properly in the organization. In fact, I had not even come across Australian Royal Commission, that I started to realize these things at a very, very early age. I was even way before I started doing research. I could see a lot of, child abuse victims that, didn't have their case handled properly in the organization. And that also disturbed me as well, that, you know, because their cases were not handled in the organization, these same victims are forced to still be in an environment with their predators, which can leave room to another, sexual assault. And apart from that, it also leaves the organization to become a safe haven for pedophiles to operate in, and which was really alarming. It just really disturbed me greatly, and a whole lot of, other things that were not right, that I just could not put the puzzle together because I didn't have the information. It's just crazy. I didn't know where to look for this information, and I didn't want to look outside the organization's material. I wasn't ready to think outside the box back then, but I knew a lot of things were not right in the organization. So I just kept playing along, but I started putting one foot in and one foot out. I was not as zealous as I used to be from the age of 16. Yeah, from the age of 16 down to 23. I was not really zealous as I used to be. I started, decline in my, you know, uh, field surveys and meeting attendance because I needed to be sure I was doing the right thing. So I didn't want to keep lying to myself. Even if I didn't have this information back then, I still felt a lot of things were not right with the organization, and I don't think I need to, keep giving it that total devotion that I used to give it before I, started having all of these doubts. So I was one foot in and one foot out until I got materials that is, strong enough for me to make my decision. And it got to a point that I could no longer bear it anymore. After so many years have passed, I decided to talk to an elder about it, and we arranged a meeting. In fact, that day was on a Saturday, so he happened to be the one, pairing the brothers out for the field ministry. So he paired the both of us together. So after the you know field service arrangements, after preaching from door to door, and going for return visits, we can meet at his house to discuss my doubts. So we worked together, and when we finished the ministry, we went straight to his house, and we started discussing. And from the meeting, I didn't find a satisfactory answer because this man was saying the same thing that I had a problem with. Um, First of all, telling me to stop um, telling me to stop having all of these doubts. That it's just the way that Satan, you know, is trying to, lure me away from Jehovah. Satan just keeps bringing these doubts just for me to see the organization as not of God, and that I should try to rid myself from these doubts by attending the field ministry more, and attending the meetings more, and slaving for the organization some more. And it kept on quoting a whole lot of garbage from the organization's publication, uh, about how crazy apostates are and stuff like that. And I shouldn't even attempt to make my research outside the organization's materials. That I should not be tempted to watch videos from apostates. Now that I'm starting to have doubts that these things could be a trap, because I already told them my intention that the truth is I'm not really uh, feeling this organization like I used to. I've been having a lot of doubts, and I'm just thinking of making my research properly. I told the elder that I've got to be honest with you. I've not really found anything satisfactory from the organization's publications. I might have to look elsewhere for my research, and that's where I started bringing all of these things. Started saying all sort of bullshit about apostates, and you know after the meeting, I wasn't satisfied. Like, it even gave me the more reason to want to make my research, because I believed you can give me the answer that I'm looking for as a spiritual authority, and that is why I decided to discuss my doubt with you. And I wasn't satisfied with your answer, so it just happened early January 2018. I can't even really remember the exact dates, but I knew that it happened in the early hours of January. Should be around. Oh damn, I can't really remember the actual date I started making my research. Was it January 4th or January 5th, 2018? Really, I can't remember. But I knew I started making extensive research. What I just did is pick up my phone and I went straight to Google. And if I remember vividly, the first thing I typed is Jehovah's Witnesses really the true? So I could remember vividly what I typed when I picked up my phone on Google was, is Jehovah's Witnesses really the true religion? That was the first question I typed, because I knew that Google is going to bring different search results that would take me to links, and because I didn't have any link in my head, I didn't know where to search for. You know, I didn't know where to search for. These links or informations. I just put that word on Google out there, hoping to find something. And fortunately, there were so many search results. And trust Google, it doesn't waste time. So it was from there I found out about jwfox.com, and that website by Paul Grundy was an eye opener. I, in fact, when I came across that website, I spent weeks on it. Yeah, I spent weeks on it, and that was mind blowing. And that feeling of being lied to all your life, and you're having to see everything for what it is, and how angry you're gonna become, how disgruntled, you know uh how pissed off you feel, like just smashing smashing the heads of one of the you know the leaders. It's just that was just how I felt. I was really I was really disgruntled. I I I felt pissed off. I wasn't happy that I've been lied to all my life, and you know it just put me in a state of conundrum, because here it is. I have found out the so-called truth about, you know, or I'm going to say, I have found out the truth about the so-called truth, because Watchtower terms themselves as the truth. And if you ask any Jehovah's Witnesses, in fact, these are, languages and cliches that, call groups use. They all have it, they all have words they use among themselves that, would not really be easily understood by people who are not in the organization. or in the cult group. So, and these languages are, uh, usually repeated to the members, and that it becomes a part of them. And these languages normally to someone out there, just an average individual out there, was not a member of the cult group, it means something else to them. In the organization of the Jehovah's Witnesses, they call themselves the truth. That's the only true religion that God is using. So when you see Jehovah's Witnesses talk about the organization, they always use the word the truth. Yes, the truth. The truth. Oh, it's left the truth. It's no longer a witness. It's no longer the truth. It's left the truth. And so you always hear that term, the truth, because that's what they believe the organization to be, the truth. So when I found out about the so-called truth, the truth about the so-called truth, it really, really got me mad, and so I was just confused. I was in a state of conundrum, because here I am, seeing beneath the carpet, um, unraveling the puzzle, but I don't know how to leave because, of course, I knew the consequences. I knew I'm going to be shunned. I knew that um, leaving the organization would, you know, make me lose virtually everybody, including my family. I didn't know what to expect, and because I'm an emotional being, I knew it's gonna really, really affect me, and I didn't know what to do. I was confused. I was confused, and these feelings gave me sleepless nights. And I also came across the Australian Royal Commission, and which kind of put a stamp on the issue of child sexual abuse. Now I had found something that put my doubts to light, you know, and that really pissed me off, especially seeing Geoffrey Jackson, who is a member of the governing body of the Jehovah's Witnesses, lying on the sworn oath in court. That really pissed me off, and I was like, no, really, I am done with this organization. And then you know when you start making research and start uncovering all of this bollocks you've been told right from your childhood, all of the lies, you want to see what other things that are aware of, and so which led me to even making more research, and I started uncovering a lot of things like the double standard of the organization and how the brothers and sisters in Malawi was brutally murdered and killed around the 1970s to 1980s, all for refusing to accept a political card. Cause the organization told them not to accept the political card. But a similar incidents happened in Mexico earlier before that, around 1960. And this was about the military cartel card. In Mexico, it was mandatory that once you get to the age of 18 that year, you are qualified to be trained in case the country goes to war. You can be called upon as a civilian to join the army and fight for your country, and then you've already had the experience and how to go about it. So the organization told the Mexican brothers when they wrote to the branch if it's okay for them to you know uh, attend this training and accept the political card of the military cartel card, rather, because that military cartel card stands as uh, you know would I put the word uh, congratulations for passing the military training. So it was more like, okay, uh, this is your evidence for passing the military training. So when you are called upon to fight for your country, this card shows that you've undergone the training and you can be recruited. So the organization wrote to the branch office in, Mexico, that it's okay for them to, bribe the officials without attending the training to collect the card, provided it does not disturb their worship. And I was like, what the fuck? This is pure double standard here, and that really really pissed me the fuck off. I was mad. I was really crazy. That such an organization that claims to be God's chosen people, that claims to be the only true religion from God, has loads of blood guilt in its hands. And there's so many of them like that. What about the investments that the organization have? The hidden investments used under the disguise of um, M. Riley, uh, the tobacco investments, the pornographic investments, the military armaments investments. And the funny thing is, these are things that the organization kicks against. As a witness, you can, carry arms, you can join the military. You're not encouraged to, watch pornography, of course. You're not encouraged to smoke. But here, your organization is buying stocks with this company, making themselves rich without your knowledge. So your loving donations is used to get stocks. That's crazy, really. And so many of them, so many of them. And if I begin to touch on them, um, time would not permit me. But there's so many evidence that I found. Got over 1,001 evidence that I found that just made me come to the conclusion that I don't want to have anything to do with this organization anymore. And a lot of XJW YouTubers also had beautiful informations too. I could remember John Ceda's channel. Uh, I really enjoyed this channel while waking up. It was the first channel I came across on YouTube. And then I also came across XJW Critical Thinker. I came across uh, Fifth, XJW Fifth. I also came across XJW Bedlight Guy, and so many XJW, YouTubers, uh, Telltale Atheists as well. There's a lot of them who had, beautiful informations that, you know, are just mind blowing, and informations that will just make you go woke about the organization. And it's just beautiful that you know I was able to get these informations by balling up to explore my doubts and make it withstand scrutiny what I believed. And unfortunately it could not withstand scrutiny, so I couldn't keep lying to myself again. So I knew sooner or later I would have to make this decision. I thought I could at first handle it by going to the meetings and being um, physically in but mentally out. Um, I just realized that I was lying to myself because it wasn't really working for me. I don't know. A lot of people manage to do it, and I really commend them for it because it's not easy. I couldn't even do it up to a week. Like, I just couldn't keep lying to myself. And that feeling when you're in the organization and you start to see things differently, and you start to see when the brothers, when a brother is talking from the platform, and you just be like, "What the fuck are you saying? This is a fucking lie." Like, I know this organization at the back of my hands. I don't believe anything you're saying. You're just lying. And I would look at the audience. I'll be like, "How come these people don't even know they're being brainwashed?" And most times, I just cannot stand meeting attendance. That I would come outside and pretend I'm, buying, candy or something. And I would just be outside until the meeting closed. And I just realized that I just couldn't do this anymore. I couldn't lie to myself, and I just had to leave. I couldn't do it anymore. So all of a sudden I just stopped attending meetings. I didn't even notify anybody. I just faded. I stopped attending meetings. I stopped attending field service, and it took about a few weeks that the elders didn't see me at the meetings, and I just received a call from one of them that they would like to see me. That what is really going on? Why have I not been attending meetings? And so they booked an appointment with me, and I went to see them, about three elders, and we discussed. Uh, the funny thing is this: while I went to see the elders, I couldn't lie to myself about it because I had to just open up to the elders about these informations. But the funny thing is, I knew that nothing I would say to these people would get to convince them because they're brain dead. I know that already. That even trying to show them this evidence, it's just like me wasting my time because this they wouldn't even want to listen. So I already had that in mind. That, the reason why these people even wanted to really see me is to know if I still want to associate with them or not, so that they can disfellowship me. They just want to know me. That's basically why they arranged the meeting. It's not like they really cared, and I could see right through it. And so I had a discussion with them. In fact, I think I had a meeting with the elders like twice or thrice. Yeah, it was the last meeting I had with them that I told them that you know I don't want to have any more meetings with you guys. In fact, even me having meetings with you guys is just because of the respect that I have for you as individuals, and that is why I'm honoring your appointment. On a normal day, I don't want to have anything to do with this organization, so I'm not even supposed to honor your appointments. And so I let them understand that I don't want to have any meetings with them again. And the next thing, one of them was like, well, you would have to write a letter of disassociation. And I just laughed it off. And I was like, what the fuck? This only proves my point. You're a publishing company. Because why would you need a letter of disassociation? When I joined your organization, did I write any letter? I was born in this organization. Did any of you meet me to write any letter that I want to be a witness? All the brothers who joined the organization, those who were recruited into the organization, did any of them have to write any letter that they want to be inside the organization, that they want to be a witness? Has there been any one of you who has written a letter that you want to be a witness? No. So why do I have to write a letter if I'm leaving? I'll tell you two things. That's what I told the elders. I said, number one, like I said earlier, it only shows that your organization as a publishing company, it's a company. Because only companies would require you to write a resignation letter when you're leaving. And secondly, you all just want me to submit to an authority for the last time. And the funny thing is, he laughed. And I said, because I know, and you know, that you want me to submit to an authority for the last time. In fact, I gave them a third reason. I said, reason number three, you just want something to nail me with. Because me writing this letter would give you that thing you've been looking for, you know, so that you can announce it on the podium so that everybody can get to shun me. I know all of these things. And you know the funny thing, uh, of course, you can't force me to write the letter, and which they agreed that they cannot force me to write the letter. It's not mandatory. That's if I want to, all right. But uh, it's best. It's best for. In fact, it's in everybody's best interest if I write the letter. And I told them, I'm not writing the letter because you want me to write the letter, because I know why you want me to write the letter. Uh, but I'm gonna write it anyways, despite the fact that I know. why you all want me to write the letter, but just to give you the benefit of that, I'm gonna write the letter. And I wrote the letter and I gave it to them. And I said, I don't want anybody to contact me again anymore again. I'm done with you guys. Nobody should contact me again. And thank you very much. You all have a wonderful day. So I left. And that was it. I left without looking back. And maybe sometimes I still regret even writing the letter. Maybe I shouldn't even have written it, despite the fact that I know why these people wanted it. But anyways, I just didn't see a big deal in it. I don't care. I knew what it would amount to when I thought over it before I made that decision, and I knew the consequences. And I later heard from somebody uh, is actually an interested person. Used to be a friend of mine, but is not really baptized yet. So it's more like an interested person coming to the organization, and an elder gets to conduct his Bible study, preparing him for baptism. So he kind of reached out to me on Facebook one certain time, and I got to find out from him that I was announced being disfellowshipped for apostasy. So that was it, and I was not surprised because I knew that would happen. And even the funny thing is, I wasn't even disfellowshipped. They started to shun me. Yeah, a lot of them who already know that I'm being inactive. They just see me and walk away. Uh, and the most crazy thing is, even those that I thought were my friends, they just shun me. Those who claim to love me unconditionally, those who claim that they can die for their brother, turns out that the love was conditional. It was all a facade, and it's so pathetic that this so-called people who claim to be your best friend, who claim to love you, will turn their backs on you just for having a difference in beliefs, just for following the dictates of your conscience. What kind of organization breeds conditional love? I just feel that that's not just um, that's not just good for my psychological well-being. I just can't be in that environment that is too toxic. I needed my mental health to be safe. It was hard for me at first, though. The shunning was so intense. But I realized that as time goes by, the shunning doesn't get to me anymore. And the truth is, the catalyst that helped me heal fast was the fact that my mom and siblings never shunned me. They still loved me unconditionally despite my beliefs. And the sweet thing is, now they are no longer witnesses. I managed to pull them all out. And believe me, if they had shunned me when I left, it might have really had a devastating effect on me. I probably might have committed suicide because they were the only people that mattered to me. Though my extended family members who are still Jewish shuns me, like some of my uncles and aunts, but I don't really care. I really don't care. The most important thing is me and my family were no longer Jehovah's Witnesses, and that's the sweet thing. And freedom is just fucking priceless. Freedom from mind control, freedom from you know a toxic environment. It's just beautiful. It's amazing. And leaving the organization leaves room for so many opportunities that you wouldn't even have had if you were still in the organization. And these opportunities I tend to further someday. And one of them is being a metal musician. That's been my goal from childhood, which I was actually ready to forfeit in the organization. But now that I'm out, still a dream that I can achieve, and I believe someday I'll have the opportunity to travel abroad and pursue my dreams. Thank you very much, guys. Uh, that's my story. Being a Jehovah's Witness, an ex Jehovah's Witness rather. All right, bye, guys. Take care of yourself.